Hi everybody, this is Jackie from Jacqueline Ann Designs. This is my February monthly quilt tube. This may be something that eventually is done as often as once a week. I am not really certain, but I wanted to show you what's happening this week. I had been having some health issues, which I'm much better from, just some breathing type issues and some things that go along with that. And I got really behind on all of my quilting projects. And mainly they were either block of the months where I was doing them along with a group, or classes I was attending. And some of them are not even started just because of the timing that they hit when all of that happened. And others, I was doing an online block of the month for one of them, and I just needed to finish getting all of the kits for the various blocks kitted out and all my fabrics together, which I have finally done. Why I didn't go ahead and start on one of the individual blocks, I do not know. I think it's because of other things I had going on. But I'm going to talk about them because these are going to be getting worked on a fair amount this coming week. That is coming up. So the next, right now, today, it's the middle, I think we're at February, this is Tuesday, Friday, so the 25th, I believe, is the date today, February the 25th. And so really these will be more March projects because we're at the end of the month, but I'm going to be going ahead and getting started on them this week. So I wanted to show you. And first is going to be Emily Taylor's Longwood block of the month. Now she has done an entirely other quilt since that time. But this was her block of the month that they finished up at the end of 2024. And I'm just now going to be getting started on it. I had tried to start on it in the past with some of the blocks and just did not have everything that I needed. So we now have everything that we need, and I have for a while now. So I'm going to finally get going on it. And I'm going to insert a picture here of the completed quilt. And I'm going to be starting with this block. And this is the tulip block. And you can see where that is placed if you look at the picture, where that's going to be placed on the quilt. So this is all blocked in. And then this is collaged in. So it's going to be gorgeous when I get done. So I'll be getting this part sewn this week, over the next week. And then I will be starting in on the tulip collage. And I'm excited. This is one of the ones that I kitted out. Emily's kits are just gorgeous. And she's very, very generous with the fabric. It comes with an actual book and instructions how to do it. And then this is the actual pattern for the tulips. And what you do is you trace this onto freezer paper, and she's got it all for your color highlights and lowlights. And she has a great book out, by the way, on color selection. And then here's how to do the background, how to finish the block for the background. So all of this will be getting done, started on this week. I wanted to kind of go through some of the fabrics that came in the kit. And just to let you know, I've done some of her other kits, and there's always extra fabric in here. So anyway, let me get it out. Sorry about that, doing this one hand. And I'll kind of show you the fabrics that came with it. And remember, they're for collage, so you don't end up with really the entire pattern. But the pattern concept behind Emily at collagequilter.com are texture. And so what you're looking for, because you're cutting them into little tiny pieces, what you're looking for is texture. So she gets these fabrics in her kits. And if you don't have a big stash of fabrics yet, it's the way to go. Compared to a lot of the kits on the market, she just recently raised the prices of her kits. But she also has a lot of sales. You never know, though, if her kits are going to last to make it to the sale, is the only problem I will say about that. But she's very generous with her fabrics when you compare that to what you actually end up using. Because when you figure that this is primarily all this fabric, other than the background fabric back here, is all going towards doing just these two flowers, you're going to end up with fabric left. Okay. And I've bought several of her scrap packs, and there's some of this in there. I just love this fabric, this cross-stitch fabric. So show you, see the silvers and stuff in there? That's going to highlight on those flowers really well. I love this rose pattern. I've gotten some of this in one of my scrap bags from her. It's not one of her fabrics, though, her Longwood fabric. She produces or has her own fabric line and her own fabric company. It's called Verdant Fabrics, and she has several lines. I think she's got 3 lines of fabric out right now. A couple of the lines have panels that you can use as background for your collage quilting. Let's see. This one's a little wrinkled. Okay, and then this is all for the background, but there is going to be fabric left from this. I mean, and this, I don't remember if this is part of her Longwood collection, this fabric. I guess it is, because that's what this quilt features, is her Longwood collection. I think it is part of the Longwood collection. Yeah, she makes several of these where, and you actually end up, for a lot of her patterns, cutting out the different designs into ribbons. So this one will be cut out, and you can see so you're not even using all of the print that's on this. You're just using this print. So you're going to have all, which is here, is folded down the middle, but see, here's where it's not folded. So you're going to be only using this, which means you have got all of this for other things. Isn't that cool? I mean, like I say, she is more than generous with her fabrics. And then this is also part of, you can see where this is the background there. Okay, and your corners are done with that, and then the very back. So that's part of her Longwood collection, and that there is a good size piece of that. So she is not chintzy with her fabrics in her kit. They are actually a pretty good bargain. So I am starting, and then her kits also come with the Steam-A-Seam Light 2, which is what she recommends that you do her projects with. It's not meant, like I know that Laura Heine quilts, she insists pretty much on not using the lights. Her pieces are bigger in her quilts, and so I can see why she doesn't she wants the more permanent solution. The light is not a permanent solution. It's and it's done so that you can move your pieces around, is why Emily uses that. So that is going to be a work to get started this week. And then I'm also going to be returning to one of my works in progress, one of my quilting whips. Here is a picture. I'm going to insert a picture of what this completed quilt looks like. Like here. Okay, and I want to show you, I've only got a couple of the blocks to a point where you can tell what's going on. Oh, that's upside down. Oops. And what it is you hand make all of these little wool appliques. See them all? And then once you get the appliques made, you stitch them down to this kind of a natural colored linen. Now the pattern has a little bit of a different linen in it. This is not the block that we have here, but if you look at it, it's kind of a blue plaid for the background, and even this is a little bit of but they couldn't get the hold of that fabric when the quilt shop that I was taking this class from kitted this out. So this one is in process of getting turned so I can do some turn embroidery on it. But I'm going to change my technique, which I'll talk about when I actually am. And I want to try something different. And so to see if I can make this a little bit easier. I didn't really like the turn applique. I don't know how to word what I'm saying. But anyway, I'm going to try Lori Holt's technique and see if that works on this. I don't see why it wouldn't. I just don't have all of the, I don't have the interfacing that she uses, but I'm seriously thinking of doing that. Matter of fact, I think I am. I just think it would be so much easier. I just have found it frustrating. And the other thing was using the 100 count thread. I just had never worked with thread that tiny. And so I'm having a little bit of a difficult time working with that thread. And then this fabric here didn't come with the kit. They just had us grab from our stash. So what I did was I had bought a Moda scrap bag some years ago. So I took some fabrics out of there that I thought would match this set. See, I got this one in a blue. And here, and it was white background. And I just tea-dyed them to make them look vintage, because this is a very primitive looking kit. If you look in the patterns of the picture here, the fabrics that she uses are very vintage looking. So in order to replicate that with what I had, I decided to tea dye it. So I tea dyed that fabric, which horrified some of the women in the group where I was going, because they felt like the coffee is so acid and it makes it acid free. Well, you know, there are many, many, many quilts you find them. Nobody worried about acid free. And it's not that I mean anything by it. I don't know if anybody will want to inherit my quilts or not. But this one being my first wool applique quilt, and there's a lot of embroidery on it. Simple embroidery, you know, running stitch, just kind of a stem stitch here. This was not a blanket stitch. They wanted the pattern calls for you to just slip stitch it. It ended up kind of looking like a blanket stitch for me on some of the things. My accuracy on this, man, I'm learning how much I need to improve on that, of my stitching. So here I dotted a bunch of dots with a white pen and then went back over it and then stitched. So, and I'm probably going to do that until I can get my stitching improved. Because it was really, if you got down closely and looked at some of this, but luckily it is a primitive theme, and I've got the ear upside down on him, but I decided to leave it because I've already got the embroidery work all done around it, and it would kind of mess it up. So yeah, I put the ear on upside down. The fat part of the ear is supposed to be down here. He's got his ears on upside down. But anyway, so this is one of the blocks, and you can see they're big blocks when you get done. Very large blocks. So there's one of them, and that one I'm just ready to start, like I say, stitching these down onto this linen background. It's a linen. And then, let's see, I don't remember how far along I was on this one. It's a similar situation. This is where I started getting frustrated with the putting stuff down. But let me turn this one the right direction so you can see it. But it's a really cute quilt. I want to do another one of this designer's quilts because she has one that's about Santa, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that on my works in progress this year. I haven't even ordered the pattern yet, but I have learned the hard way. You order some of these things before they become not available. I've got this one slip stitched down on here. I'm just not happy with my slip stitching. I just don't think it looks good. I'm a little bit frustrated with myself over it. I think that's what the main issue is for me, is I'm frustrated with myself over it. But anyway, so this is the next other block that I have all of the applique work done onto this linen background, and the embroidery is all done. So now I am in the progress of trying to do a turn edge applique on the edges here and get it down. And that's what I'm having. I was having a hard time. I wasn't feeling well. I got frustrated and put the quilt away is what ended up happening. So I've got that. I'm not going to start in on these pieces as far as embroidering these down until, doing the turn applique on it until I get my next one. But I'm going to start on another block. And this is block number 3. So you can tell everybody else is on. I think there's, I don't remember how many blocks on this quilt. If I have a picture of the, actually I have a picture in here of the completed quilt. So we don't need, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think there's 13 blocks on there. Oh, no, there's not. There's just 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 12 blocks on it. So it's a beautiful quilt. I will still insert that picture there so that you can see the, well, here it is. You can see it right here. And it's got this scalloped binding on it, which is going to be quite a learning. You put this edging on here, which I think will probably be in the final kit. And I also, hopefully this binding is in there as well, because I'll never be able to duplicate this fabric. And it's supposed to be in a matching fabric. So I'm hoping I'm going to be picking up the final kit here soon, I think, at the shop. And when we get that far, I am really hoping that, because you can see even this is all done by hand. This is almost a hand quilt. Now the quilt here, this person decided not to really do any extra quilting. As far as, it's strictly where she did this stitching around each of the big linen appliques. So, I'm going to do the stitching around. Other people in the group actually took it in and did a full quilting on it. I think what the issue with this doing the full quilting on it is that it, there's not a lot of space in between the appliques. So I may do it just like she did and just do this quilting, but I don't know, and then stitch in the ditch to get it to stay on my background. This might have been a good quilt as you go project. I don't know. I've never done quilt as you go. I don't really know what all it entails. But anyway, I love the quilt, and I have learned a lot doing it. And so what you're going to see me starting on in this next week is block number 3. And then at some point, I'll bring you along with me when I start getting to do the turn edge applique on here. I just want to try that other system first and see if it will work for this and if it turns out neater for me that way. Because I'm not liking what I'm doing on the turn edge applique right now. I suppose with experience that will get better, but I'd like for it to look a little bit neater. So this is the one we're going to do next. It's called A Quiet Moment, and I'll be starting on this block this week. So those are my 2 works in progress. My 1 work in progress and the one that I'm going to start this week is going to be this collage quilt. So without further ado, I will talk to y'all later, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.